What are you 100% certain is true despite having no evidence to confirm or disprove your belief? My cat knocked over the water glass on purpose. I don't even know your cat and I'm also 100% sure of this. A supervisor changed my days off at the last minute without telling me in an attempt to get me fired for attendance. Phone and internet providers start out solid and over time purposefully make the product worse to encourage you to upgrade. Also Comcast throttles the internet between 2 a.m. and 5 a.m. I'm a late nighter and it goes out without fail. When I call they say it's my router. But that's the only time it ever goes out. BuzzFeed employees make AskReddit posts to help them write articles. One of my local radio stations does this for a fact. 2 days after a popular AskReddit they ask their audience the exact question. My bond with my bearded dragon goes beyond he's warm. I understand the limitations of his tiny nervous system and that he isn't capable of affection. I just firmly believe that he not only wants heat and food, but that he finds my presence to be pleasant. That boy will come off his basking log as hot as he'll ever need to be, with a belly full of bugs, and still come hoarding over just to fall asleep on me. I don't know what it is, but it's more than just him seeking the necessities. I adopted a blind kitten that was really aggressive. Not like going out of their way to attack people or anything, but just would bite claw when you played with them or pet them for more than a second, and aside from her bedtime at night she never sat still for more than a few minutes, as many kittens are. Kept my home office door closed while working so she wouldn't be too much of a problem. Had some crippling depression one day, and aside from putting out her food at the normal time I only laid in bed. After about 2 hours she hopped up on the bed and just laid on my chest, purring, for over an hour until I got up. Animals are like people and just total bros sometimes when their friends' family need it. It's gonna be alright. I think my mom's ex-boyfriend raped my sister. We don't have any evidence. He was abusive towards my mom so we got him out of her life. And then we noticed my sister gets noticeably on edge around men. He won't talk. And my sister is mentally disabled and won't tell us. I'm 100% certain of it in my gut. Jesus man, that's an awful thing to be sure about. I hope it didn't happen. But if it's true I wish you find a way to make him go to jail for life. Aliens exist all over the universe. Be it only some extremely simple organisms or those super advanced civilizations we see on sci-fi stories. I have no doubt life exists outside Earth. People with lower IQs are happier because they aren't constantly overthinking, looking for self-transcendence, analyzing everything around them, and expecting too much of themselves. Yet I am still stupid and sad. The big hot pockets from a convenience store have different fillings than the small ones from the grocery store. I swear they taste different. If they are different size pockets boxes they could easily be from a different factory that uses different suppliers. That those people who accidentally show porn in class are secretly getting off on it. This is oddly specific. Allowed to operate freely, corporations would gladly abandon any semblance of ethics to turn a profit, including ushering in the slavery and or deaths of their customers. Deleted. Something in my old elementary school is causing people to get cancer. I lived in a small town. Right around 4,000 people. I went to the private Catholic school in the area, which was even smaller. I graduated with 15 in my class and there were less than 300 students total at the time. Despite this very small amount of people, 6 students and faculty members have been diagnosed with cancer over the past 5 years. The odds are so unbelievably slim that I'm sure something cancer-causing is in the building. But who knows what or where it is. Have the water tested. Small town. I'm guessing the possibility of wells. Could maybe be the water source the school is using. I'm being pushed aside for leadership roles at my company because I'm a good reliable worker and they have a shortage of those. It's definitely something that happens. Asked an old boss of mine about something similar and they came straight out with it. I need you in your current role more than in a higher position. I was perfectly okay with that. Especially a little while later when raises came out. Lunch meat cut as thin as possible just tastes better. The flavor's got nowhere to hide. Companies are offering monthly payment plans in an effort to normalize having a low income and high debt. Way too plausible. Garbage trucks have loud brakes to give us one last chance to get the bins out. People who buy NFTs don't actually exist. It's just a money laundering scheme. Someone recently opened a private art gallery cafe that only allows in people who have crypto and or NFTs in one of the poorest neighborhoods in the city. Can't see that going well. There is at least one giant creature deep down in the ocean that we don't know about because we have never seen before. Like maybe one of those megalodon's plesiosaurs. We thought giant squids weren't real until we found one. Oh, and also maybe aliens. I like getting carried away with this stuff, and since there's no real 100% evidence that the answer is no. What's wrong with thinking it might be true? It's almost impossible that we don't eventually find more large deep sea life. Magna Pinna. Giant and colossal squid are all fairly recent find. And I believe deep sea mining will lead to more. The issue is that the animals can't be that giant. Whale size is about the theoretical maximum. Anything larger than that should have flagged on a surveillance system of some sort by now. People, well, governments, are really good at tracking large objects on this planet. Personally, I think we'll find more mollusk-type giants. I can totally imagine 30 feet deep-sea clams. Or some giant species of deep-sea eel. I just doubt it'll be anything particularly huge, bony or mobile. Software updates at the end of a product lifetime will brick the device. The person reading this is sitting or laying down. You got me. The NFL politicized kneeling to distract from CTE research. Sandwiches made for you are absolutely better than sandwiches you make yourself. Doesn't this have something to do with being desensitized to the smells of the food while you're preparing it? I'm no doctor though. Big Mac keeps getting smaller. Pretty soon it'll just be 3 buns with a little grease stain between them. Holiday-shaped Snickers taste better than regular Snickers bars. Same for special-shaped Kraft mac and cheese. I have scientific evidence that the dinosaur chicken nuggets taste better than their round counterparts. The obtuse shapes of the prehistoric poultry pieces allows for a more thorough cooking of the meat slurry. And the edges grab sauce better and get a better, more even crisp. My co-worker lies about her medical conditions. She lies that she has seizures. And while I can't prove it, I know it's a lie because she'll drive the same day that she claims to have a seizure. Anytime you mention any medical condition, she has it, and it's worse than your case. She has mentioned having toxic shock syndrome, colitis, and a bunch of other things I can't recall at the moment. One day we were talking about autism, and she mentioned that her 22-year-old daughter, who also happens to work with us, was diagnosed as a child. A few days later the daughter casually mentioned that she had found out just recently that she's autistic. I wanted to tell her that she only just found out because her mom just recently made that shit up. I have a co-worker that only limps when he thinks someone can see him. Coke soft drinks taste better in glass bottles than plastic. That reply about the can and bottle lining is part of it. But also, plastic bottles aren't impermeable to gases. So plastic bottles of Coke will typically be a little bit flatter than a glass bottle or a can. Humans can communicate telepathically. We just don't know how to use it on purpose. This along with the whole emotional connection thing. My mum found me overdosing when I was a teen and there was absolutely no reason for her to break her routine. She always maintained something told her she would regret it tomorrow. If she didn't check say goodnight to me. The correlation between feeling you're right and actually being right is low to moderate. This feels right. We're never going to contact intelligent alien life. It probably exists, but the universe is simply too big. We've let ourselves get carried away with sci-fi depictions of impossible technologies that we assume one day we'll be able to cross vast distance in the blink of an eye. But it's more likely that we just can't. Having the most upvotes doesn't mean the statement is true. At least half the US government can't beat a 5th grader in 5th grade trivia. I'm convinced that theme parks, fairs, carnivals pay people to walk around with giant prizes to make the games look more winnable and convince more people to play. Tales from the Carnival by Adam Buckley details the creator's experience working at a carnival. He said that all the games are rigged and the operators let attractive couples win so they can walk around the carnival with the large prizes as a form of advertising. Find Tales from the Carnival here. https://Buckley. Bandcamp.com album Tales from the Carnival. I am convinced that other people are not mere philosophical zombies. https://en. Wikipedia. Org wiki philosophical zombie. but rather that they have similar interiority, consciousness, awareness, and qualitative experiences as I do. That's what a philosophical zombie would say. Some modern art is priced so high because rich people utilize it for money laundering. Saw it on a Reddit conspiracy comment and I haven't been able to shake it since. You could be right. But my mom is a professional artist, painter. And I can tell you that there are a lot of bad artists out there who absolutely make bank. And it all comes down to marketing. There are good artists who make decent money. And good ones who don't. And there are terrible artists in both categories. But rich people don't like to be told they don't know what they are doing. So if a bad artist convinced one wealthy person that the artist's work is great, it has a domino effect. That person shares their discovery with friends. And everyone is too afraid to say actually. I kinda think that sucks. It's an emperor's new clothes kind of situation. Intelligent life exists outside of our solar system. Aliens exist. Hopefully soon. The new hyperspace bypass through the Milky Way will begin construction. The Loch Ness Monster is a lil dinosaur ghost. I would highly recommend believing this, since it doesn't hurt anyone to do so. Makes me smile thinking about him. That incompetence and self-interest is responsible for most of the bad shit that happens in world politics rather than conspiracies. I am convinced that the electronics items sold at steep discounts on Black Friday are the ones that don't test as well at the factory. Like, when they do quality control tests. The ones that rate 90% or whatever are the ones that are tagged and sent out for Black Friday sales. That my sweet, innocent, shy dog is a diabolical mastermind who creates scenarios that get my hyperactive dog into trouble in order to maintain his favorite title among friends and family. I've seen some things. Poor Wendy. Lately, Disney has been trying to revive the old Steamboat Willie version of Mickey Mouse through merchandise and new cartoons drawn in the old fashion that nobody really asked for. I think they are doing all of that deliberately so that they can try to fight the scheduled copyright expirations on their old cartoons. I used to be an IP attorney. This is likely to protect the Steamboat Willie version of Mickey Mouse under trademark rather than through copyright. Once a copyright expires, it's in the public domain. There's nothing they can do about that, other than buying senators. But Sonny Bono is dead. They can however seek protection though trademark protections, which can go on indefinitely. The primary purpose of trademark is to prevent there being confusion as to the source of a given good. And to your point, if they ramp up production of early-era Mickey Mouse paraphernalia, they have a better argument in court in regards to consumer confusion. An eye-rolling one. But Jeffrey Epstein's island, to me, confirmed the existence of depraved headhunting and Squid Game-like sadism. The sundial with the pastel-colored stools? https://imgur. Gypto, come on. There are too many people who go missing without a trace and never found to consider that at least many of them don't end up in a sick situation like that. That this thread, which appears about once a month, it seems, is actually being created by Reddit itself to drive website traffic. Facebook and other apps listen and advertise accordingly. Did you see that new Toyota truck? Man, Toyota trucks are great. Enjoy your truck advertisements. Whether they realize it or not, even the most sincere people that do reviews for stuff within a certain hobby interest don't provide their real opinions. If they're too negative about too many products, companies won't send them stuff. If they say stuff too far outside the groupthink of their community, people won't want to watch their channel anymore. As a result, most of them are simply putting their own spin on what the general consensus tends to be. This isn't the first universe. This isn't the first time any of this has happened. This one trips me out a lot. Like, okay, so we know that viruses and bacteria and atoms are just microscopic specks that cannot be seen by our naked eye, right? What if, in this giant solar system, we are simply those atoms in a much larger body? Like Earth itself is being looked at as an atom for whatever is way bigger than us. The fuck? Man? I think about this way more than I should. And I don't even smoke weed anymore. Don't forget to sort by most controversial. Yeesh. God exists. God does not exist. The virus came out of a lab. Aliens. No aliens. 9/11 was an inside job. That's a controversy parfait. With sprinkles. That banks run the world. The kind of banks that lend money to governments. That pressing a helps catch Pokemon. Conspiracy theories are purposefully circulated in order to create dissonance and divide people so that we forget about legitimate issues. Sounds like a conspiracy theory. Opossums are supposed to be Australian, but God got drunk and mixed them up with possums. Nothing convinces me that God has a sense of humor more than the very existence of the platypus. That one day, maybe years from now, a PS5 will be mine. Over half the people who got PPP loans don't even have a real business. Electronic appliances, phones, washing machines, are intentionally made to break down after a few years just so you have to buy new ones. Cause repair is usually not worth it. My parents have 35 years old washing machine. Mine broke twice in 2 years. Hummingbirds are fairies. It's the last bit of whimsy I have left. Don't ruin this for me, please. They're fairies. Just from the point of view of corvids. Multicolored. Tiny. Move differently. Fairies. Yuri Gagarin was not the first person to go to space. Just the first one to survive. Michael Jordan didn't retire to play baseball. He was serving a suspension related to gambling, and he and the league agreed on a mutual cover-up because he was too valuable a marketing asset for the league. They didn't want to tarnish his image. That many great principles, forces, and truths exist that no one has yet contemplated, and that when discovered, will make what we currently regard as true seem hopelessly naive. I have no evidence that pertains directly to our current state, but there is overwhelming precedent in history. Ethan Baum did steal my pencil in 5th grade. When I was a kid, I watched an episode of VH1's Pop-Up Video. I swear there was a blurb in the segment for Madonna's Take a Bow video that talked about her having sex with a bull while shooting this video. They then went on to make blurbs comparing human semen ejaculation to bull ejaculation. Pop-Up Video seemed to end shortly after this. I have not been able to find this segment of Pop-Up Video anywhere online to prove to myself whether or not what I saw was true. However, I can find record that there was an episode of Pop-Up Video that did include Take a Bow, and there is video of the 2 other segments included in that episode, but Take a Bow is missing. I think this sunk Pop-Up Video and is the reason they've never released the series on DVD. I loved Pop-Up Video, you're right. It does say she had sex with a bull. Thankfully they didn't mean the animal. They meant a Chicago bull. Dennis Rodman. That my brother clogged the toilet. He denies it, but I know he's lying. He better unclog it or I'm gonna be real frustrated. Deflategate was intentionally spurred on by the NFL to distract from concussion lawsuits and domestic violence headlines. If a car ran over my foot, I'd be absolutely fine. I think this is all about impact speed rather than weight. I had a car slowly roll over my foot once and it didn't hurt at all. But I'm sure a car going at speed would hurt because of the impact on the side of your foot. That chapstick companies make their chapstick to actually chap your lips, so you need more of their chapstick. Bastards. Read up on Carmex products. You'll see that you're correct. That smart people are more depressed than those who borderline average intelligence. It's also so beyond me to think humans would accept aliens when humans can't even accept the same species but with different skin colors or sexualities. That corporations prevent nationalized healthcare in the US so they can exert control over their employees. If employees didn't need a job for health coverage, they could quit any time a better offer came along. I can sing. Very well. I've never sang in front of anyone. But it's all I do when I'm alone. If you're too shy to sing in front of others, record yourself. It means you can hear yourself back, but also you can share with others if ever you feel confident enough. Either way, keep singing. That my aunt is my sister. My parents dated in high school. My mom said that she felt like her daughter. And people in high school suspected that she was my parents as my mom transferred schools for a year and went back a year later with a baby sister who looked like her except she had my dad's curly hair. This was in the late 60s, where my mom of all people said it was common for the parents of the mom to raise a high schooler's kid as their own. My parents always helped her more than other family. My mom helped her through her divorce. My dad paid her mortgage when she got laid off. There is something beyond this material life. A week before my mom died she told me that I have to go home soon. But you have to stay here. As she was actively dying she kept waving. As if to people. And once even told me to move out of my chair. As if I was blocking her view. I pondered this once in a while ever since, and then I came upon hospice nurse Julie, I think that's her name, I know it started with a J, on TikTok. She simply describes, without religious or any other bias, the process of dying that she has witnessed. Apparently, a dying person often says that they are going home, and also says that they see lost loved ones and even pets who intimate or even say outright not to worry, and that they will help the dying person pass. As much as a month before they die. The day before my stepdad died. One of the last things he said to my mom was I'll be better tomorrow. When my great-grandpa was dying. He spoke frequently to his wife who had been dead for decades as well as old friends from World War II. The night he died. Before we found out about it. My mom dreamed he came and spoke to her and said he was sorry. But he had to go home and see his wife. I don't really believe in anything supernatural or an afterlife, but it is comforting to me to know that they had those experiences somehow anyway. Anyone that drives slower than me is an idiot and anyone that drives faster than me is an asshole. My genetics are especially well suited for consuming large quantities of cheese. Politicians at the highest level of the government are all crooked as hell. Could just say all politicians. They may start out with good intentions but the money, greed and lobbyists all become too much to deal with. Our dog knew my wife was pregnant before she did. Normally she was a sweet and lazy lovable dumbass who would hang out with whoever wasn't moving. The dog. Not a wife. Then one day. She decided she wasn't going to leave my wife's side. She wasn't aggressive. But she wasn't going anywhere either. Followed her everywhere for a few weeks. Then spousal unit started getting sick. And went to the doctor. And the doctor said let's check the obvious. And now I have an 8-year-old daughter. And that dog is her constant companion. Halloween Oreos taste better than the regular ones. The octopus was originally a space alien. That the leader of Scientology killed his wife and burned the body. And bribed the police to get away with it. At least 1/3 of the human and the internet and social media are bots or IS.